Newhouse. How's everybody doing out here? You guys all right? So, if you will, put your hands together for today's new guest artist. Okay, put your hands together for our new guest artist, drummer and musician and storyteller extraordinaire, friend of the Texas Jazz and Blues Camp. Storm of applause for Tom Brechtlein. All right. So Tom, you're going to start with music or stories, or what do you guys? Stories. It's up to you guys.
I want to hear stories. You guys want to hear stories? Stories. So, let me grab my phone real quick. Equinox first. Equinox is first.
We're going to play something for you.
What's that? Another what?
One liner? My wife was the nurse son. I was a water son. Together we made mud. It's really great to be here. Anyway, that was too cold equinox. And I'm just going to open it up. You folks have any questions? Come on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to sit here.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, I'm going to sit right here.
You like Phil Donahue.
Who's that, sir? I'm going to sit down because I have to sit down.
So. Did I say something?
Sure.
Give me the mic, Maestro.
So, when I was in, I guess in college, years ago, like in the mid-1980s, late 1980s, there was this band that was always playing around, like in all the different cities. The Chick Corea, it was before he called it the acoustic band, it was just the Chick Corea Trio or something, or that. And this guy was the drummer in that band, the Chick Corea Trio, right? So Chick Corea actually picked him to play drums. That's a big deal, okay? And I never got a chance to see that band. I always tried to go to see him, and I would always miss it. And then by the time I had money to buy tickets, it was David Weckl and John Patitucci. But I had heard recordings of these guys, so I will tell you that, I have played with a lot of great musicians in my time. And I played with a lot of great drummers. Bush Miles, Peter Erskine, Keith Carlock, like some really great drummers. And I know, I try not to get, there's things I love about all these guys, and I try not to get too starstruck when I play with these drum heroes of mine. But the first time I played with Tom, I was nervous, which is weird. Do you remember that gig? We played a gig like
That was great. That was at
was it North Carolina? North Carolina or something, right? With Christopher Cross?
Oh, that one.
Yeah. This was before Tom moved to Austin. Christopher Cross, who I was the bass player for, said, "Hey, I got some gigs coming up, and Tom Brechtlein going to play drums." And I was like, "Tom Brechtlein from Chick Corea? And Joe Farrell?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess." And so I was nervous. And, it was like, the thing that I noticed about people like Tom and Peter Erskine and Bush Miles is whenever I play with them as a bass player, it kind of feels like I've been playing with them all my life. And Peter had actually said it to me one time. He said, when we played a gig, he's like, "Man, it feels like we've been playing together all our lives," which is a great compliment. But honestly, it kind of is like I've been playing with these guys for all my lives, because I've been listening to Chick Corea and Weather Report and all, and Wayne Shorter and everything. So all the people that he's played with and all the bands that he's played in, those were the bands that I aspired to be. So, it was kind of cool to me to play in a band with Tom Brechtlein. I was very excited.
The hang was cool too.
Huh?
The hang was cool too.
The hang was cool too, yeah. Yeah, and we got to know each other, and so anyway, I just want you guys I want to kind of normalize things here a little bit. I get starstruck too, and I was, it's kind of weird because looking at it now, I'm like, why was I starstruck about this guy? But I was, and there's a really good reason for that, because he's a great drummer, but not only that, I can't emphasize this enough. Chick Corea relied on him to be his drummer, and there's literally you can count on less than two hands the amount of drummers in Chick's entire career that he relied on. So that to me says a lot. I don't know if it says to you guys, but it says a lot to me. So anyway, Anyway, let's give it a Tom Brechtlein.
That'd be great. Oh, and also, of all great artists that he played for, I will tell you that
I know for a fact that the one artist that he's the most proud of, he's played with Chick, he's played with Shorter, he's played with, who's the guy who did, Al Viola and Kenny Loggins. But the artist that he's the most proud of being known for is, who's the Jimmy Glick guy?
Jimmy Glick. Martin Short.
Martin Short. He was Martin Short's drummer. That's a big deal with this guy.
So be ready for anything. Okay, so, thank you for that introduction, man. John Frederick.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to open it up with any questions.
I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
As a drummer, what would you tell a horn player about how to tell a story?
You have to speak loud. I'm deaf as a
I can't hear.
As a
He's
drummer,
deaf. Yeah.
what would you tell a horn player about how to tell a story through your soloing?
They already know how. They're the ones that are telling me. It's a give and take. You talking about when he's soloing?
Yeah.
Well, Don, this dude played with Tony Williams, in his own right, holding his own thing. He's played with many people, So when you get together with somebody, you don't tell people to tell their story. They tell a story to you, and it's a give and take. You know what I mean? It's like, here, I was walking down the street one day. Oh yeah, you walking down the street one day? Yeah, and I ran over a cat. Ah, you ran over a cat! It was like, dude, now let's watch some more. Hey, you know what happened to me today? What? You took out the garbage. Oh, you took out the garbage. Oh, wow, that's great. That's what it is. It's a communication.
We were already there. I hope you heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but we were already kind of in that zone when we were over here.
Yeah. But when he's taking the solo, of course, yeah, I'll overplay under him. No, I'm kidding. But that's the kind. When you play Equinox, I think of, I think of Train, and I think of McQueen, and I think of Jimmy Garrison, and I think of Elvin. That's a concept. Yeah, exactly, especially this. Thanks. Sit on it. I do it all the time. Oh, you're not doing it. I'm sorry. What's the rattling?
That's, I think that's Paul. Oh, sorry, that's me. He's like automatically. I'm
Stop that. I'm sorry. I apologize. You can beat the crap out of me later in the back of the school. Okay. So anyway, when he's sorry, you can kick me, but don't kick me there. Anyway, so when he's playing, I'm accompanying him, and then I'm listening. Russ, what happens? You got taller.
It's a long story.
Something else different too.
Yeah, so he's accompanying. We're all playing together. Trying not to get each other's way or whatever. But it's a four-way communication. You know what I mean?
I'll add a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Dan, right? Yeah, so I'll add one thing is that, for sure, especially when I'm playing with someone like Tom, or with someone back in the day, that was my early days of exploring this, the idea of rhythmic vocabulary, right? Like really, checking out the jazz history and traditions, and then checking out how cats play. Like, for example, Freddie Hubbard was a very rhythmic trumpet player, for example.
Yeah.
And Clifford Brown was rhythmic in another way. Louis Armstrong might be one of the most rhythmic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A trumpeter. On the saxophone, one of the main rhythm guys is Sonny Rollins, right? But also Coltrane too. Coltrane is more linear, I'd argue, compared to Sonny Rollins, who was much more rhythmic in terms of vocabulary. So that's one thing, the tradition. And the other thing is exploring, for lack of a better word, me being a geek, exploring the math of it. Like checking out how triplets lay over 4/4, and how you regroup the triplets, which I was we were kind of getting some things there. And I sent them, when we were training, I sent them a triplet regroup thing, he sent back to me. Oh yeah, you walk down the street, and I hit a squirrel, but I rarely missed the squirrel. Like I did the squirrel, he threw it back to me. Oh yeah, that squirrel, but behind the squirrel was did you see the armadillo?
Then you shot the dog. Why did you do that for?
I didn't So we would, you know, so rhythm was got to like two easy domains.
Yeah.
One is tradition, two is, this is more rhythm from a mathematical perspective. Look on the page and check out the Teddy rhythm book or Louis Dawson rhythm book. Just check out rhythms.
And-
Vocabulary into the tradition.
It's conceptual, I mean, conversation, I guess it could be called, I think it's too esoteric, you know, I mean, what do you play? Drums, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, trumpet,
Anyway,
trumpet.
Yeah,
Trumpet.
trumpet.
Yeah, not drums.
Oh, it's trumpet.
I think it's trumpet, not drummer.
Yes,
I
you
think
want
it's
to take a trumpet, you won't lose your hearing like me. Anyway,
Could I add one thing from that, please? Just by observation, I mean, I wasn't playing that set, but specifically to your question, Liam, asking about telling a story, I think I have immediately a image of the person who's telling the story speaking. But really, another way to look at what they're saying is, you can't say anything if you don't listen first.
right.
So I think as a soloist, we get so busy like trying to learn chops so we can speak, when the chops that you play is really a response to what you're hearing on the bandstand.
Or in your head.
Or and that's exactly right. Or even, but even if it's listening to this, you're listening to yourself and the room too. So I often have a bad habit of zoning out to make sure I play as good as the guy before me. Oh, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But really, I have to say, man, you'll be surprised what comes out of you when you listen across the floor. Man, your body and your vocabulary and your mind will start to respond to what you were listening to. So be as good of a listener as you are a speaker telling the story. I guess that's right.
That's what allows us so much about, not hitting our elbows.
And the other thing is, you get all this information about chords and scales, and that's the groundwork, that's stuff, but now the thing is to play with people, play in bands, so now you use it. So it's almost like you remember, but you forget all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And you play, and don't be afraid to, and play a lot with people.
Yeah.
With people, you know?
Yeah.
And that way, I mean, it's okay to screw up and play a wrong note when you're doing that and whatever, but the main thing is to play with people and listen to a lot of records.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think not records, files, you know? But, you know, but I mean, what we used to do is we're all that age,
Except for him. Yeah, we are.
except for you.
We are.
He's a young, he's a kid at it. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, we used to go over to each other's house and check this out. No, really, you know,
Oh, I
you
know.
check that out and you go like, holy crap, you know, it's like, well, then you go out and buy, spend your hard-earned money, whatever you had of it, you know, and you buy that and you listen, you know. You wouldn't even transcribe, you just kind of listen and try and copy it, you know. And then maybe later on, if you feel inclined, transcribing is cool too, I mean, but, because you come up with other ideas, why you transcribe, you're not even on the, I found out, you know. But you listen, and you play, and you struggle with it, you go, damn, but nobody, you know, that's really important. Listen to the records to see how the whole thing fits together, and how different bands play together, you know.
Yep.
And then hopefully, if you take it further, a step further, and wanna, you know, play, and play in clubs and stuff, I forgot what I was gonna finish. But anyway, it was just sort of like, to be ready, you know, you get more seasoned, and especially when you play in front of people, that's the next gradient after all that. But, you know, I mean, but listening is so important. It's just, you know, check out records, don't check out just one track, maybe check out the whole album,
Yeah.
you know, or download, you know. And, well, now, vinyl's coming back, so, but it's really expensive, unfortunately for you guys, you know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and when you say listen, you mean like sit down at a desk and listen, not like while you're cooking dinner.
I'm
while
sorry, a
you're-
little louder, please.
When you say sit down and listen, do you mean like just sit down and listen, or like in the car? Do you mean intentionally sit?
In
at
the
a desk
car,
and
in the toilet, in your bedroom, in you know, when your mom's going, it's time to eat. Wait a minute. You know, I mean, it's listening. What do you do when you listen? How do you do it?
Usually I'm driving my car.
Okay. Well, the thing, do you have record player?
Yes, I do.
Do you have vinyl?
Yes.
What?
try vinyl, because you have to sit down and you really have to listen.
Okay.
You're not multitasking. You really have to listen. And, you know, you may read the line notes. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll be with you in a minute. Fries are almost ready. You know? But, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's really important. I remember I forgot about that, and then I got a turntable years ago, and I said, oh, I remember this. You know, you sit down, you really listen, you get the whole deal. You know? Plus it's analog, you know? So, you should do that. If you have your favorite records, or if you can buy them and listen to them that way. I used to get two, when I was making some dough, I used to get 2 copies. One for listening and trying to cop the stuff off the record, because you know, you scratch it up and you go. And the other one just for listening, you know?
Interesting.
So there you go. Got it?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Good question.
He who's next, right? Who? You. Yeah.
What album?
Here you go, let's give you a mic.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Right here, this youngster.
Go ahead.
Last question.
What album did you recommend to listen to?
Oh Lord, there's so many of them.
What do you play? Well,
Trumpet.
Well, I started with listening to the Beatles and the Four Tops and Temptations, and then let's see who else. Aretha Franklin and so Dave Clark. This is when I was 6 years old.
Mark
You know?
Short.
It's when I was 6 years old. I listened to all kinds of music, you know, and then I listened to Cream, you know who they are. And later on, you know, and then I listened to I don't know, intros that like got involved with more jazz, you know, the big bands, and then Dizzy Gillespie, and then into Charlie Parker, and then Coltrane then made a beeline to Jethro Tull, and Yes, and King Crimson, and then, you know, P-Funk, Tower Power, everything, you know, Chick Corea, Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, which is a great record, and then I was, you know, in a nutshell, those are the kind of things I listened to, you know. Everything from jazz to rock to progressive rock at the time. Because that was brand new back then. And then I realized, you know, and then you start weeding out what wasn't so good, what was so good, and you know. But the thing is, you're constantly listening, and then I was playing with garage bands, you know. You know what a garage band is? Okay, good. It's not the game. It's real people, you know. And listen to more records, and then you get, with the bands you get, they have records too, and then you start listening to those, you know, and they tell their friends, and they tell their friends, the next thing you know, you got this vocabulary going on, without even knowing it, you know. That answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Who had a quick question? Yeah, go ahead.
How do you practice limb independence?
How do I practice limb? I don't remember, to be honest with you. This is my limb independence. I'll just tell you. I'll just.
Sit down.
Okay, do this.
Sit down.
Do this stuff. Okay.
Walk this way.
I had a really great teacher by the name of John O'Reilly, not John O'Reilly. He later on worked for Alfred and did a band method book, but we studied out of, you know, advanced techniques for the modern drummer, you know, and then modern syncopation, the Louis Bellson book for reading, and then this, Sandy Feldstein and Roy Burns put out this stuff called percussion. It's multiple percussions, but you can play it on the drum set. You know, that helped a lot, and just playing snare drum and listening to records. Like, you know, you start out like this. You know, the old heel tone thing, you know, with Oh, look, he's still, he's trying to play. No, I didn't learn that, but, you know? And then you graduate to this stuff, you know? Triplets, right? And then you do paradiddles, triplet stuff. You go. Okay, you get the concept? You get the concept?
Yeah.
Great. And then you put it here. Right? I mean, that was the basic of the whole thing, you know? So you go, you amaze your friends, you go. And then you do it the other way around, you go. And then you do it around the drums. And you get a flow, and then the next step is to get a flow. But that was basically, and then that's basically what I did in Independence, you know, or, you know, the advanced techniques, you learn vamps like this, you know. Stuff like that, and then you switch it up, you know. And then you get on your own, then you're on your own and you don't practice your lesson and you say, oh, I can do it this way, I can do it this way. Of course I can't do that, but it's worth a shot, you know? And then you start doing. And eventually you don't play that. And it's more of a coordination than an independence. You know what I mean? And then you think of those little, they're kind of little melodies. They're kind of little melodies that go in your head. My voice gets higher, like Curly, the Three Stooges. No, I know. But then the next step is when you learn that, then you got to play with the band. You can't play exercise number 51. It's going to sound stupid, but you know. But that's what you start playing with bands, you know. And then your ears. I always say these will tell you what you should be doing, you know, whether it's technique or whatever, you know. And it's now you have to play with a bass player, saxophone player, piano player, in an ensemble, and you have to play a song. You know, play the song in my heart. Da da dee da 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 da. Just the song da da da. Dee da 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 da. Oh no. You know. Now you can't do all that fancy stuff. You know, play the song in my heart. Da 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 da. And I always knew, and my whole life through, with the song in my heart, ha, ha, ha. Then you got a groove. So not getting anybody's way. And it's got a flow.
you know, these songs, so here's the deal. A lot of these songs, we know, and I'm just as guilty as everyone, because they're in the quote-unquote real book. And, you know, I can't, if I was honest with you guys, I wouldn't be able to say, every single song that I play that's also in the real book, I have found a iconic recording of that one. That would be deceitful of my part, so I'm not gonna say that. But the tunes like Autumn Leaves, like you guys are working on, and Green Off the Street, that's something you guys are working on, and Boston, so far and so forth. Those tunes, I've learned from recordings, and the ones that have lyrics, I've made it a point to listen to like Sarah Vaughan or Billie Holiday or wherever I could find that or see that kind of quote-unquote iconic version of it. And learning the lyrics without even realizing it was so important to me. Now, it's so important to him that he doesn't even think twice about singing the frame of the chorus when he's telling you the tune. Most of you guys don't even know this tune, but so just understand that the real book is this source of information, but it's the recordings of all the songs.
Absolutely.
That really gave us the book.
Yeah, I mean, I was, the first tour I did with Chick-fil-A, Liebman was on it, Dave Liebman, great tenor player. And he would take me out to places, to listen, I met a lot of cool players, and one of them was Bob Moses. I don't know if you know who he is. Check out, well, right off the bat, check out a Pat Metheny record called Bright Size Life. He's the drummer on that record. And so Dave took me out to this club in Copenhagen after our gig. Well, I think we had the day off, but we went out and saw Steve Kuhn, Steve Slagle, and Harvey Schwartz, and Bob. And they were, as we say, you'll learn this expression, it's called taking it out of the regular form, like rhythmically or metric modulation or whatever. You ever heard those terms at all? Yeah. So, I was very impressed with that. I mean, I was doing it, but I wasn't quite I was 20 years old, man. I was like, teach me, So, I remember everybody's packing up and said, Bob, I said, man, how do you do that? He just goes, and he goes, man, you just sing the tune. And we just sat there playing air drums, doing Stella, taking it out like that, like da dee da, do dee doo doo, da 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 da, stupid stuff just to make so that we get on track. I'm going, and we're playing air drums, and it was fantastic. And I went, whoa, And then the next night, I used that concept on Chick's gig, singing what I know, because I could sing all the tunes that we played. And I remember, Leva going, yeah. Then I see Chick, he's looking at me and he goes, well, I think he's digging it. He's just smiling, Until finally, in the middle of this one tune, he looked at me and went, groove! And I went, oh. I said, I'm going home on the next plane tomorrow, And so we took a break. And he reminded me of that. I thought he'd forgotten. This was in 2000. This was 1978, but in 2006 he reminded me. I said, oh, you still remember that? So during the break he comes up, he goes, who told you to play like that? Was it Liebman? And I said, well, no. He goes, man, it's like, he was getting a little upset, and all of a sudden he stopped, and I could tell he liked it. And he goes, well, we'll work on that some more, And he never bought me again. And I only needed one gig to realize that. So then I realized, okay, you got to spread it out, bruh. You just got to relax. And it was like, because you have to understand, you're going to get these new toys, so to speak. And you're gonna wanna use them all the time. Fair enough. Hopefully you have somebody to say, yo, back up a little bit, you know? But, and so after that, I understood that concept, but I knew how to pepper it, you know, and use it in the right places more and more. Like I said, the more and more you play, the more and more you know, the only way I can explain it is you know where you're going. You know, you could probably even foresee it before it's coming at you, you know. And that's the real reward of playing with people as much as you can. I can't stress that enough. You know, I mean, the woodshed, you can make mistakes. Nobody has to see it. Oh, I don't want to play that. That's not it. But nobody's going to see it. You don't have to tell anybody either. You know, if you have to go back to a basic or something. You know, I don't know. That's just my take on it. Did that answer your question about independence? Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
we should time for another.
All right, so let's do. I don't know. You want to do all blues? All blues?
Sure, or whatever.
All blues? Want to do all blues? All blues? All blues? All blues?
How about a Tom Brechtlein now? How about it?
Thanks for listening, because I can't hear.
Hey, drummers, listen to his phrasing, okay? Listen to his phrasing, drummers, listen to his phrasing.
How about that? Paul Beamer, trumpet. John Tillman on bass. Jay Tillman, piano. And our great friend, great drummer, great storyteller. How about it for Tom Brechtlein on drums? Tom Brechtlein. All right, I'm very much. Okay, so we are going to, and by the way, that tempo, boy, that's a mature tempo.
He picked it, which is great.
Absolutely.
It's like,
Gives you a little, no, it's a, I love the challenge, and I love the fact that we found each other exploring with all that space there. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
yeah.
Well, sometimes like that.